and welcome to Mostly Rational, a podcast in which we answer your questions in a way that is rational, mostly. I'm Asia Sanchez, which is why we got to go with the old intro that I like.
And I'm Tawny Sanchez, and I'm the one who sent her that intro.
Yeah, I forgot how much I liked it, but thanks for sending it to me and reminding me.
You are very welcome.
So we are back. It has been a while. An embarrassingly long while, cough cough, but we kind of saw that coming because Tawny moved to New York recently and it's just been a little difficult setting up a podcast together when we are 3,000 miles apart.
Yeah, it's also a little difficult to set up anything that requires internet when you're constantly moving between houses. So,
yeah, so forgive us if there are any little bits where we cut out. We've noticed that when we're doing this recording online that it can kind of clip if we accidentally interrupt each other, and you know how we love to interrupt each other. So
I know how Asia loves to interrupt me. I say as I interrupt you.
Yes, the irony. So yeah, we will be working on it. If you have any advice for us, let us know, and bear with us during this transition, please. So a little quick intro for those of you who don't know. What we do here is we answer questions that listeners send in. So later on, if that sounds cool to you, you can send us questions, and we will tell you how to do that at the end of the podcast.
Yep, that's what we do.
All right.
Should we just get into those questions that we already have? Or did you have something else you needed to say?
Nothing I needed to say, but...
Well, I guess I could ask how you are.
Oh yeah, personal stuff. I'm good. How are you?
Also good. I got to see Yo-Yo Ma in concert last night.
Yes.
So I'm
very jealous.
Pretty sweet. It was really, really cool. He is flawless.
That's cool. I just drove up from the Bay Area today. Well, I was driven up from the Bay Area today. I don't drive that far. Are you crazy? I stayed most of the week in Rockaway in Pacifica, and it was just relaxing and fun and a nice getaway. And now I'm back and ready to pod, my real job that I do. Sort of. I'm just pretending this is my real job before I, get a real job. Cough, cough. And this could be my real job with just several hundred more Patreon patrons.
Yeah.
Or one really generous one,
Yeah. I think that in order to get more patrons, we have to actually do the pod.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm saying?
I suppose so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oakley dokley.
All right. Question time?
Question time.
All right. So first we have a couple of questions from Ariel. And her first question is, who is the most influential person in your life?
I think the most influential person in my life is Ariel. Because she makes me do the most things.
She does make you do lots of things.
She is the reason I was in Washington a couple weeks ago. I don't know who really the most influential person is. Maybe Mom? She sure had a lot to do with, my life in general. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to say if we're going by, who has actually influenced us directly or personally. I think that people can be influential, though. They don't even know we exist.
True. In that case, David Tennant.
Yeah, I think he's been pretty influential for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And a whole TV network.
Right. The BBC, me, same thing. I don't know. It's hard to choose just one person. What is that famous saying that you're the sum of the 5 people with whom you spend the most time?
Mm-hmm.
We're influencing people who influence us. It's a big ecosystem of influencers. Mm-hmm. #, #subscribe.
Wow, okay. I was going to say that along those lines, or along with that, we would have to do some math in order to actually know who we spend the most time with, because it's time equals influence, apparently. So
No, thank you.
you don't want to do math?
Only if it's fun math.
I think it would be pretty interesting. It would be like the people that timed the amount of talking in John and Hank Green's podcast, to see who
True.
talked more. So it'd be like every time we are around any particular person, we time the amount of time that we are with them. We're timing time. Yeah, that's a good thought, Tawny.
That's a real thing. That is dedication. What would we do without fans like that? And where are our fans like that? How come nobody's timing us?
Because
Like,
we have like 2 fans, Asia. Maybe 3.
well, why aren't they doing their job?
Maybe because they have real jobs to do.
Plus, it just makes me feel like, so sometimes people make fun of me for when I get all obsessive over something and, do weird things like time who talks longer in a podcast. And then people are like, wow, you nerd, you have too much time on your hands. But I ask you, what would we do without these people who do these things for us? We would just never know who spoke more in John and Hank Green's podcast. How would we go on?
Yeah, I always think
it's important work.
I always think about the amount of memes that I look at on a daily basis. And it's like, I would never sit there and take the time to make, well, I have a couple of times, but like more just inside jokes with friend kind of memes. But the actual ones that become popular on the internet, I wouldn't take the time to try and think of those and put them together, you know? But it's
right.
But it's like, what would we do without those people who did that? Where are all of these coming from, you know? Anyway, that's totally the same thing.
There's an endless supply of memes. There are some truly quality memes out there. Mm-hmm. I think of funny jokes all the time, and sometimes I can't even be bothered to tweet them, let alone find the perfect SpongeBob image, you know?
Yep. Exactly. My leg has already fallen asleep, and I've only been sitting here for 15 minutes, so that's cool.
Yes. My foot is threatening to do so. Do you want to try and make this like a half-hour podcast? Because we're both very tired with the time change.
Why are you tired with the time difference? I'm tired with the time difference.
Because I had to get up really early, and I've been sleeping in the same hotel room as our father, who snores very loudly.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, in your face.
Sympathy.
All right, next question. Also from Ariel. Sympathy. Thank you. Very good job.
Beep boop. Sympathy.
INTJ sympathy. Execute program. All right. We sound like nerds.
Wait, when do we not?
I'm trying. Not really. Okay. Stop. You're making me sound nerdy.
That's not me doing it.
Stop. Don't let me talk so much. Okay.
Yeah.
Next question. Also from... Oh, shut up!
I was sorry. I was just going to say, if someone did time the talking in our podcast, you would definitely be John Green and win that
Tawny,
by far.
I have been saying for years, for many reasons, that I am John Green.
Yeah. I know.
In this relationship especially, I am clearly the John.
Yeah. I mean, where's our short poem?
You want me to find one? I'll find one.
No. Let's ask the second question from Ariel.
No, you go ahead. You ask the next question and start to answer it. By the time you are done with your answer, I will have a short poem for you.
Okay. So the next question from Ariel is, what is your favorite conspiracy theory? I don't know if I have a really specific conspiracy theory. I know that a while back I did like some reading on like a list of really crazy conspiracy theories, or by crazy I mean ones that seem to have a lot of evidence, and I was like, ooh. But I don't remember what they were. I've always been a big fan of science fiction, though, and I just really want there to be aliens, you know? I don't spend a lot of time reading up on things like that, or UFO sightings and stuff. But I think in a different world or life, I don't know, I would be a lot more into that if I was going to like really dig into different conspiracy theories. I don't know. I just find it really
Well, I'll
interesting.
answer the question. It's true. Extraterrestrials do exist. The end. End of story. Okay.
Are you gonna
Mystery solved.
are you gonna share your conspiracy theory?
First, I'm going to share this poem.
Okay.
It's about death because I'm trying to stay on brand here with the John Green thing.
It's about what?
Death.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes. It's by Atticus, whoever that is. I'm going to do my best John Green voice. I hope to arrive to my death, late, in love, and a little drunk. How was that?
So much better than I expected.
Thank you. My favorite conspiracy theory is the one where I am alt universe John Green and you are alt universe Hank Green. And I've seen a lot of this going around the internet, and it's starting to gain some traction in the Redditors community. There's a thread about it. Is Asia John Green? Have they ever been seen in the same room together at the same time? And I would just like to put that to rest. Yes, I have on two occasions been in the same place as John Green. So, if anybody can find photos from those to prove it, that'd be great. And then we can lay this whole ridiculous idea to rest that we are indeed the same person. Now, what we cannot put to rest is the fact that John Green did write that book about me. That is now being made into a movie or something. Turtles All the Way Down, about a girl named Asia with OCD. Yeah, okay. Definitely not about me, Asia with OCD.
Oh, wow. Maybe I should have gone with lizard people.
Is John Green a lizard person? More at 11. My favorite conspiracy theory is the flat earth one because it's so funny. It's hilarious. It's also my least favorite conspiracy theory because so many people believe it and it makes me sad seeing their logic. The logic that they put into it. It makes me sad because it's like it just so clearly outlines how people arrive at so many wrong conclusions about so many things and think that they are right and think that they have good reasons. It's distressing.
You know why I hate the flat earth conspiracy theory?
What?
Because every single time I'm around our father, I have to hear about him trolling the conspiracy theorists or the flat earthers. Like, every time.
The good news is our father's not a flat earther. The bad news is he loves to argue with flat earthers.
He loves to argue in general, but in that particular, it's like a weird hobby of his now, and it
is dad bait.
Anyway, should we ask our third question?
Sure. Was Maroon 5 obligated to play Sweet Victory at the Super Bowl after teasing it on Twitter? Asks Brandon.
I didn't watch the Super Bowl.
So I went to a Super Bowl party and we did not turn the TV on until the halftime show because we were eating Greek, African, and Japanese food in the other room. It was the best Super Bowl party of my whole life.
Because it was about the food and not the Super Bowl. Yes.
That is obviously the only reason I go to Super Bowl parties. When I go to a Super Bowl party and someone starts talking about the game, I'm just like, what? I don't remember. Oh, okay. The fog is lifting. I'm beginning to remember the halftime show. I now remember Maroon 5 playing, that guy with his shirt off and all the tattoos, I think, and he was singing, but I don't remember what Sweet Victory sounds like. So I did not see them tease it on Twitter because I ignored most of the pre-Super Bowl trailers because I just don't like that world that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that aspect of it where the Super Bowl commercials have trailers. No, thank you.
So I did not watch the Super Bowl. I watched Genesis, the top 8 of Genesis, which is a Smash Brothers tournament. So I watched the top 8 for Melee instead, and it was way more exciting than the Super Bowl has ever been for me. And there's no commercials. There is no Maroon 5 playing. It's just sweet, sweet Melee.
Sweet, sweet victory.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was doing.
I'll answer your question, Brandon, though. If they really did tease that, then yes, they should have played it. I mean, I will just go ahead and form an opinion there. Can I ask the next question?
Sure.
This comes from Anonymous. me. What would you do for a Klondike bar? And now we get sued. Our new sponsor is Klondike Bar. Do you think they'll be mad?
Klondike
Would they be
Bar.
mad if we said that? What, are they too good for us? Klondike Bar, you too good for us?
They are too good for us. They're never gonna know we exist. So
I'm
not really
not
concerned.
sure I have ever eaten a Klondike Bar.
I think I have, and I was like, I don't know why people do anything for a Klondike Bar. I don't know why people walk to the aisle in the grocery store that they're already in to get a Klondike Bar.
I don't know why they stand for 30 seconds trying to figure out how to slide open that window thing in the gas station freezer. You know what I'm talking about?
Take you that long?
Can't ever figure out which way it opens.
I don't know why they reach into that freezer for the Klondike Bar. I don't understand why they unwrap that Klondike Bar.
Listen. I don't understand these things, but Klondike Bar, if you're listening, whoever makes Klondike Bar, if you're listening, I am willing to learn for a price. For the right price, I'm willing to learn.
If I was willing to go through all of those other steps for a Klondike Bar, the only other thing that I would be maybe willing to do is buy some Lactaid so I can digest the Klondike Bar. That's it.
If you did have the Klondike Bar, and then you ate it for some reason, and then you had only the garbage left, you could then sing, I got a silver wrapper, and then be done with it, and that's the whole thing.
Why? Why?
I don't know.
Why? No.
Well,
No. No.
Well, I was just thinking, like, maybe Klondike Bar could have, like, a promotion where they do a golden ticket thing, but then I was like, but their wrapper's already kind of like a silver ticket thing, and, then my brain glitched. There's a polar bear on the wrapper, though, right? You like polar bears?
Just because I am Ice Bear doesn't mean I'm gonna like a Klondike Bar.
I don't know. Seems pretty close-minded.
Okay, Asia, I have a life advice question for you, also from Anonymous. I lost my favorite imaginary friend. What should I do? The voices in my head are freaking out.
Are they freaking out because you lost them and they liked them and they missed them? Are they freaking out because they're afraid they'll be next? Or are they freaking out because you wrote this question and you wrote your favorite and they're jealous because they're like, wow, we stuck around and this is how you treat us? The one that left is your favorite? This is an unhealthy relationship that you have and we're still here for you and this is what we get. Okay, that's fine. Cool, we're not upset at all.
I think it's definitely the last one. And you know what that reminds me of? Is at the end of The Wizard of Oz, The Wizard of Oz, at the end, when Dorothy was like, and I'm gonna miss you most of all, to the Scarecrow.
Arguably an imaginary friend since it was all a
Hmm.
dream.
But the thing is, I just find that so hilarious because why are the other people like, excuse me, how dare
I
you?
know.
Why are you gonna miss him the most? I mean, maybe because he was with her the longest, I don't know. But it just seems like some, I don't know, like a really solid burn or just really, really savage Dorothy, you know? Know what I'm saying? Um,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, as far as the question, like I said, I agree with Asia, and I think the interpretation being that they're offended, that's why they're freaking out, and they're just they're upset. So maybe you need to make amends with the other voices in your head.
So next time I say goodbye to you and Kiri, because we're all in the same room together, or we're video chatting or whatever, I'm going to choose one of you, and I'm going to say that I'm gonna miss you more than the other one. How will you react? Let me predict. You will just roll your eyes and hang up.
Mm,
Accurate?
mm, time will
Also,
tell.
how did they lose their imaginary friend? How?
When imaginary friends, Asia, are real enough, you don't control them. Um, you know what I was thinking about recently, or when I first saw this question? um,
Very recently.
no, I mean these questions have been sitting here for a few weeks.
Oh, right. We haven't been doing our job.
Yeah. So I was thinking, I know that there are people who don't have a visual imagination, like they can't picture things.
Really weird, yes.
I can't remember what it's called, something phasia.
Ooh, Asia.
Anyway, I was wondering if there are people who are the same way, but with sounds or voices. Because I mean, really, we can all hear voices in our heads. We can have a conversation with ourselves. We can just hear random noises. You know what I mean? So I wonder if there are people out there who can't do that. And I wonder if those are the people that can't ever seem to stop talking because they're just incapable of thinking to themselves, you know?
I do know people like that. Like, no one's talking to them. The TV is on. Other things are going on. Everyone wants to be quiet. And they're just, like, kind of off and saying everything out loud. Just everything.
Yeah. I was gonna, like, kind of give an example, but I don't want to do that. But I do know, one or two people where I genuinely don't think that they're capable of having like internal thoughts, because when they're not talking or listening to somebody else, they look very disturbed, like they are gonna like start convulsing, like they can't hold in whatever it is and they can't imagine a possible response, so they just say whatever is coming into their mind at that moment. And then
because they're in the void. They're not thinking if they're not talking. Yeah, you've left them in the void.
But I mean, it's probably not true. I don't know if it's a possible thing that somebody could be like that. I guess I could Google it, but I'm trying to not tap on my keyboard.
I'd just like to remind you that nobody asked us about this at all. But if anybody does know anything about it, we're all ears. You should let us know. Let you know. Mm-hmm. And especially, are you like that? Do you have?
Yeah.
Can you hear? And do you have internal thoughts, or do you have to say them out loud for them to be real?
I know some people that don't. I guess think about the words that they're gonna say before they say them. I don't know if that would be along the same lines, but I do even find that pretty interesting. So if you're the type of person who doesn't try to formulate a sentence before just saying it, let me know. I like to have a conversation, or let us know.
Would you? Yeah, so when I was a kid, mom would tell me to just please stop and think about what you're going to say before you start talking. Because I would start a sentence like, what would you, what would, what would you do for, what would you do for a clon, what would you do for, you if you would, Asia! Is mom. Please, for the love of Klondike bars, think about what you're gonna say first. But it's that. So that was just me, my mouth getting ahead of my thoughts. But it's not like I don't hear the thoughts ahead of time. I was just starting the paragraph before I'd finished writing the whole thing. You know.
Yeah. I think that's why I kind of am slow in conversation sometimes, or why I pause a lot, is because if I didn't form the full sentence ahead of time, then I have to sit there for a second and formulate the rest of it.
Oh my goodness, Tawny, this next question, so relevant.
Mm-hmm. So Tyler asks, what's your audio recording setup like? What's your post-production experience like? E.g., what programs do you use?
LOL. So,
Gross.
nothing is normal right now. It used to be I had a desk and I'd have my computer and I had a mic stand and I would have the mic hanging on the mic stand with a pop filter in front, and I would have Tawny come up to my room and we would sit next to each other and I would aim the mic closer to her face because she's quieter than me, and then we would record. And then I would take that recording and I would spend several hours editing out all the worse things that we say and a lot of the ums and silences, and I would do my best to make the sound a little more crisp to varying degrees of success, and then, upload it. The end. So now Tawny is gone in New York. So it took us a while to get this set up tonight. I am sitting currently on Tawny's old bed that she left behind. Because...
Excuse me, get off my bed.
No. There are too many people in our house, and the electricity is off in your office. So I'm sitting on your bed, and I have my computer kind of propped up on the bed / this little nightstand that Mom put in here. Tawny took her mic stand and my mic stand broke. So my microphone is a spherical shape. It's basically just a ball. It's called a snowball. And it is sitting in a glass, like a water glass. It's perched on top of that. And under the water glass is my journal. And under the journal are 2 VHS tapes. And then under the VHS tapes...
Asia, I think you're revealing a bit too much about our really, really horrible recording setup.
I'm not done. Under the VHS tapes is my sketchbook, and that is all on the nightstand. And I have put a pillow behind this setup in the hopes that it will echo slightly less. And we are using Uber Conference to record, which is probably why it's going to sound pretty glitchy. Tawny is sitting on her bed.
No, I'm not.
I assume
Would you
she
like
has...
me to explain my own recording?
Well, I thought I understood it in my imagination, but I guess you can say it because it's your real life.
Well, I mean, you were close. I have my computer set up on my bed, and I'm sitting on the floor next to my bed. And that is why my leg is falling asleep, or did fall asleep, and I've just been trying to very subtly switch between what leg I lean on, and so there's that. I am just recording directly onto my computer, and double recording with Adobe Audition, and also Uber Conference, so hopefully we will have decent audio to work with, but I don't have a microphone currently. And the last time we tried to record something, I was using a different headset, but the microphone on it bounces against me, pretty much. So you can hear.
And it picked up my voice.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the current state of our recording setup. And then,
Not great.
yeah, it'll get better. I keep meaning to get a good microphone, but I've been procrastinating because I want to get a good one for recording music, and things keep coming up, being a hobo around New York, and it's been a little difficult.
Someone on Casting Call gave me like a pity tie win in a voice acting contest just so they could give me $150 to buy a new microphone. But I desperately needed that to pay a bill. So I still have my old microphone. I mean, in the long run, it's going towards it because I did need to pay that bill. My microphone's okay, but man, it would be nice to have a nice one and to be set up in an actual quiet place. Although I haven't heard any trains go by, Tawny. Isn't that cool?
It's a miracle. I am finally now in a permanent place, which is great, and I have a large basement that I will be turning into a kind of work/art music kind of studio. In the long run, I'm trying to do that, but first getting the normal part of the house set up. So that's the eventual plan. What's our post-production experience like? Asia?
So Tawny doesn't do any of that. I edit everything on Audacity, and it takes forever.
Because you
I'm just
are really stubborn and want to stick with Audacity, even though it's probably like the worst recording program ever.
It's free, and I know how to use it, so it's just kind of the best I can do for now. I appreciate Audacity for existing and being free. This podcast, not sponsored by Audacity, except that they do give us the free use of their program for editing, so kind of sponsored by Audacity.
Okay.
So, is that all our questions?
Yeah, that's all of our questions. Sorry this is going to be a short podcast, but, if you want it to be longer or more entertaining, send those questions in.
We didn't have an ideal, list of questions. We didn't have a ton of time to set up, anything cool or special for this episode, but I just really wanted to get something recorded so that we could get it out there and get this ball rolling again and remind people that we exist, and then, hopefully do this more consistently and frequently. Even if the episodes are shorter, I would think that's better to put them out more frequently. Let us know what you guys think. Would you rather have long hour-long episodes, but maybe they take a little longer to get out, or more frequent 20 to 30-minute episodes? Let us know.
Yeah.
And send in questions.
Yep.
That's the most important part.
Yes. Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys how to do that, by the way. So first, if you would like your questions answered on an upcoming episode, go to mostlyrationalpodcast.com/contact to submit a question, or you can just directly email us at mostlyrationalpod@gmail.com. If you'd like to support our podcast, the Mostly Rational Podcast, you can leave a review and rating on iTunes. You can also support us on patreon.com/mostlyrational, and you can get some perks from that. Choose your favorite rewards tier.
You can follow us on Twitter at Mostly Rational and on Instagram at Mostly Rational Podcast. You can send us questions anywhere you want, but it would really be best if you just emailed them to us.
Or use that submit feature on mostlyrationalpodcast.com/contact.
Yeah, we do have a website, a whole real website that we worked on and made and paid for and everything, so you could use that. Shh.
Yeah. Asia, didn't you say there were some people you wanted to thank?
Yes, we want to say thank you again to Tyler Rogers for being our #1 patron, being with us the longest. And I'm just going to go ahead and give a shout out to some of our most recent Patreon supporters. I'm not double checking which tier you guys are at, so maybe I owe you a shout out, maybe I don't, but here we go. We've got Tyler. We've got somebody named No Thanks. Pretty sure that's you, Brandon. We've got Megan. We've got Justine. We've got Cassidy. And our newest patron is Jonah. Thank you, Jonah. I like your icon. It's like a little fox. That's cute. I'm so excited to go to bed.
It's 8 o'clock there.
Yeah, but It feels like 7.
That time change must be really rough for you.
I'm like in the middle of the sentence and I'm like, aw, dang it.
So yesterday I got back from the city pretty late and didn't get to sleep until like, I mean, really it was more like 2 a.m., but it was technically 3 a.m. because of the time change. And then I was so tired, and I do this thing where basically I don't sleep for weeks and then I crash. And last night I crashed and I meant to wake up around like 9ish. And I woke up around 1. But really it was me waking up around like, well, I woke up at like 12:30 and then it was really like 11:30 because time. I really hate daylight savings. Can we just get rid of it? That'd be great. Thanks.
I feel like most people agree,
Yeah.
and yet we keep not getting rid of it.
know.
What's the deal? We all hate it.
What's the deal with the time change? What's
Nice
what's
delivery.
The deal?
Mwah.
What's the deal with daylight savings? Every time every time I started to say, like, or I got to the part where I had to say, what's the deal with, I forgot daylight savings. I almost said, what's the deal with time zones?
What's the deal with time zones? Why can't the Earth just be one time zone? We're one planet, aren't we? One human family.
Wow. I really hope this doesn't go in the actual podcast.
Oh, it's going.
No.
We don't have much to
Please.
work with.
Only bloopers.
One of our patrons, Brandon, has sent us a photo of a soda machine, and somebody is pushing 2 buttons at the same time to get 2 different sodas in the cup, and one of the sodas is labeled Doing Nothing Because You're Depressed, and the other one is called Being Depressed Because You Do Nothing, and then he asks, how does one deal with this? Brandon, if you figure that one out, let me know, because it's probably the number one problem in my life.
Send me the photo.
It's in our email.
But, okay, well, just ignore the clicking.
This is going to be so fun to edit. What with it being a big hodgepodge of nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Okay, see the photo. Doing nothing because you're depressed. Being depressed because you do nothing. Wow, what a light topic to end our podcast on. Depression.
Remember when we used to have a nice, lighthearted, goofy question like, why do ducks have webbed feet?
Yeah.
For the last
Where did that list of Sharon's questions go?
I know, we need to bring that back.
Yeah.
We need to bring that back.
Yeah. I'm looking for it now. Why are glaciers blue? How old is the oldest star? What is nail polish made out of? How does Wi-Fi work? What is on a cat's tongue? Wow.
What's on a cat's tongue? It depends what it's licking. Also...
I really like this last one. Why do people grunt when they sit down?
Hey, fun fact about the Wi-Fi question, though. There is a famous actress in the old times who was, known as being just the most beautiful woman in the world. But she was also super, super smart. Her name was Hedy Lamarr. And she invented some, concept that's too smart for me that eventually turned into the science that we used to come up with, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and stuff. So thanks, Hedy Lamarr. # International Women's Day 2 days ago.
I thought that was yesterday.
Nope, 2 days ago. I know because I was in a coffee shop and some guy said, Happy International Women's Day!
Okay.
He said it like that.
Mm-hmm. I like that also one of the questions in this list is just, are you sure? Well, it comes after the question, is Sharon your best
No.
friend? And then it's,
No,
are you
definitely
sure?
not.
And
Sharon didn't even go to your housewarming party,
yeah,
so
Sharon.
probably because she heard the first time we answered that question, though.
I don't remember what I said.
You were disturbingly silent on the matter.
Oh.
I answered. I said no. Sorry, Sharon. Not my best friend. No offense.
There's actually a lot of questions on here that I don't think we ever answered.
Well, let's hit some up real quick. We got time.
No, we don't. I need to go to sleep.
Okay. Maybe next time.
Yeah. Okay, thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much. We're so tired.
Yes.
I'll try to make it. We'll try to do better next time.
Will we though? Will we?
I will.
Okay.
I almost promise.